In the next Archer-Seath hours, our world is going to change forever. What if the invisible shield that protects all of us just vanished? This isn't some distant sci-fi movie plot. It's a simulated timeline of what would happen if our planet's magnetosphere failed. For one full day, it's gone, and the clock is ticking. The first 60 seconds are completely silent and invisible on the ground, but in space, it's a catastrophe. Our planet is suddenly naked, left to face the full, unrelenting fury of the sun. A torrent of charged particles, the solar wind, which normally flows harmlessly around our planet, now slams directly into the upper atmosphere. This isn't a gentle breeze. It's a constant stream of plasma hitting us at nearly 1,000,000 miles per hour, an invisible tsunami of radiation. Binda, within 5 minutes, our first line of defense begins to die. The thousands of satellites orbiting our planet, even the ones that are radiation hardened, weren't built for this. They're designed to survive solar storms with a magnetosphere, not a direct, continuous onslaught. One by one, their sensitive electronics are fried by high-energy particles. Manjit, the first to go, are the most vulnerable in low Earth orbit, the very backbone of our modern world. In less than 10 minutes, the Global Positioning System, or GPS, is gone. Weather satellites, which give us critical data for tracking storms, start sending back junk data before they fall silent. Global communication relays start to fail. Down on Earth, the average person doesn't feel a thing yet, but our global nervous system has just been severed. For the first time in decades, we are flying completely blind. An hour into the collapse, the disaster finally reaches the surface, and it hits like a sledgehammer. The non-stop bombardment of solar particles starts creating massive electrical currents in any long conductive materials. And the biggest conductors we've ever built are the continent-spanning power grids. They effectively become giant antennas for a doomsday solar storm. Plans, these geomagnetically induced currents, or GICs, surge through the high-voltage transformers that are the critical hearts of our electrical infrastructure. They were never designed to handle this kind of raw, direct current. Across the globe, they begin to overload. The first one hums violently, overheats, and explodes in a shower of sparks. Its failure shunts an impossible load onto the next in line, which also fails, triggering a terrifying domino effect. Mandia, we have a real-world preview of this, though on a much smaller scale. Back in a solar storm, far weaker than this scenario, caused a GIC that took down the entire Hydro-Quebec power grid in just coseconds, plunging 6 million people into darkness. Now, imagine that happening everywhere, not just one region, but continent after continent going dark. First North America, then Europe, then Asia. Within 3 hours, the vast majority of the planet is without power. Mamdi, the world's air traffic is thrown into utter chaos. Planes still in the air have already lost GPS. Now they're losing contact with air traffic control as ground stations lose power. Pilots are forced to fall back on old-school analog instruments and fly by sight, all while their own flight systems are becoming more and more vulnerable to the radiation. The skies, once a symbol of our connection, have become a terrifying lottery 8 hours in. The sun is high in the sky, but it no longer feels like a source of life. It feels like an enemy. While our atmosphere still offers a crucial shield against the most lethal X-rays and UV radiation, it can't stop the high-energy particles now raining down on the surface. Radiation levels are climbing to dangerous levels. Not instantly lethal, but anyone outside is soaking up more than a safe yearly limit in just a few hours. The message from the few emergency broadcasts still running is simple and grim: get inside. If you can, get underground. The planet itself is starting to react. Animals that rely on Earth's magnetic field for navigation are in a state of total confusion. Migratory birds, sea turtles, and whales all have a sense called magnetoreception, an internal compass that has guided them for millennia. Now, that compass is just spinning wildly. Ancient migratory routes are broken. Flocks are seen flying in confused circles, and pods of whales become completely lost in the deep ocean. It's a quiet but devastating blow to the natural world, a disruption of one of the fundamental forces of life. Planned 12 hours in, a far more sinister process is just beginning. The solar wind isn't just irradiating our world, it's physically tearing it apart. Just as it did to Mars billions of years ago after its own magnetic field died, the solar wind has started to strip away our atmosphere, one molecule at a time. Now, this is an incredibly slow process. It would take millions of years to make Earth truly uninhabitable. But the process has begun. We are now living on a planet that is actively bleeding its air into space. As we approach the Arterseeth hour mark, humanity has been shoved into a new, terrifying reality. The global blackout is nearly total. Without electricity, there's no clean water being pumped to cities. There are no communications, no internet, no TV, no radio. The complex, just-in-time supply chains that feed our population have collapsed. In a single day, we've been knocked back to a pre-industrial age, but with one crucial, horrifying difference: we now live with the knowledge that the sky itself is hostile. Survivors huddle in their homes, lit by candlelight, completely cut off from the world. The initial panic has given way to a quiet, gnawing uncertainty. Every flicker of light in the sky is now a source of fear. Every sunrise brings a new, invisible wave of radiation. The world hasn't ended in a ball of fire, but in a cold, silent, technological death. Our Arterseeth hour simulation is over. Deep within the Earth's core, the geodynamo hypothetically spins back to life, and the magnetosphere flickers back into existence. The auroras return, but this time as a gentle, welcome glow at the poles. The invisible shield is back, but the world it now protects is scarred and broken. The recovery wouldn't be a matter of days. It would take decades, maybe even centuries, to rebuild what was lost. This scenario, a complete Arterseeth hour shutdown, is thankfully a work of scientific fiction. The massive engine of molten iron in our planet's core can't just turn off for a day, but it can weaken. And right now, land scientists are tracking a huge growing weak spot in our magnetic shield called the South Atlantic Anomaly. Stretching from this dent in the field is so significant that satellites passing through it are exposed to higher levels of radiation, causing regular computer glitches and data failures. In fact, the Hubble Space Telescope has to power down its sensitive instruments every time it crosses this zone. Since this anomaly has grown dramatically. Combined with the fact that solar cycle, Arsa war peaked in, Artsendling Arserseef, with activity far stronger than originally predicted, serves as a stark reminder. We live on this planet under the protection of a force we can neither see nor feel, a silent guardian that has allowed life to flourish for eons. It deflects solar storms, holds our atmosphere in place, and shields us from cosmic radiation. Blind. It's easy to take this protection for granted, but it's the only thing standing between life as we know it and Arterseeth hour countdown to catastrophe.